What if I told you that the world's most famous spy stories are still shrouded in mystery? Ever wondered about the secrets that have never been uncovered? Welcome to our journey through the murky waters of historical espionage, where elusive spies, coded messages, and secretive operations remain unsolved to this day. These stories have fascinated historians and thriller lovers alike, blending real-life intrigue with endless speculation. In today's video, we're diving into the top 10 unsolved cases of historical espionage. Each case is a puzzle that has baffled experts for decades, making us wonder what truly happened behind the scenes. Stay with us till the end, because each story unveils a piece of the grand puzzle that might just lead us to uncover the truth. Ready to embark on this thrilling adventure? Let's get started. The first case involves the enigmatic figure known as the Man in the Iron Mask. This prisoner, whose identity has remained a mystery for over 300 years, was held in various French prisons during the late 17th century. His face was concealed by an iron mask, and only a select few ever saw him. Who was this man, and what secrets did he hold that demanded such extreme measures? Several theories have been proposed over the years. Some speculate that he was a disgraced nobleman or a political prisoner whose identity, if revealed, could have destabilized the French monarchy. Others suggest he might have been the twin brother of King Louis XIV, hidden away to prevent a succession crisis. Despite these theories, no concrete evidence has ever emerged to confirm his true identity. The unsolved questions surrounding his imprisonment continue to captivate historians and conspiracy theorists alike. Why was he masked? What crime had he committed, if any? And perhaps most intriguingly, who decided to lock him away for life without a trial? The mystery of the Man in the Iron Mask remains one of the most compelling unsolved cases in the annals of espionage history. The first theory involves royal connections, suggesting he may have been the twin brother of King Louis XIV. This idea stems from the potential threat a twin could pose to the throne. If a twin existed, his claim could challenge the king's legitimacy, leading to a potential succession crisis. However, skeptics argue that no historical records mention a twin brother, weakening this theory. Another theory proposes that the Man in the Iron Mask was a disgraced nobleman. Perhaps he was someone who had committed a serious offense against the state or the king, warranting his lifelong imprisonment. This theory gained some traction from the era's political climate, marked by power struggles and court intrigues. Yet, the absence of any concrete evidence linking a specific nobleman to the story remains a significant counterargument. Some historians believe he might have been a high-ranking military officer who knew sensitive information that could endanger national security if leaked. Concealing his identity would have prevented enemies from exploiting any knowledge he possessed. Counterarguments to this theory highlight that there were more efficient ways to protect national secrets without resorting to lifelong imprisonment and a mask. Furthermore, an intriguing but less popular theory suggests he might have been a commoner with an extraordinary resemblance to the king, used as a decoy in political plots. This theory offers a plausible explanation for the extreme measures taken to conceal his identity. However, it raises questions about why a commoner in such a role would need to be imprisoned for life. In summary, while these theories provide fascinating possibilities, they all lack definitive evidence. The true identity and reasons behind the Man in the Iron Mask's mysterious life and imprisonment continue to elude us, keeping this case a subject of endless speculation and intrigue. The second case involves the notorious Cambridge Five, a Soviet spy ring that infiltrated the highest echelons of British intelligence during the Cold War. This group consisted of 5 individuals who were recruited by the Soviet Union while attending the prestigious University of Cambridge in the 1930s. Their mission was to gather and transmit classified information to the Soviet government, significantly compromising British security. The known members of the Cambridge Five are Kim Philby, Donald Maclean, Guy Burgess, Anthony Blunt, and the mysterious fifth man, whose identity remains a subject of debate and speculation. Each member played a crucial role in undermining British intelligence operations, passing on a wealth of sensitive information to their Soviet handlers. Kim Philby, perhaps the most famous of the group, worked in MI6 and was in a prime position to access top-secret materials. His betrayal was particularly damaging as he was highly trusted by his colleagues. Donald Maclean, who held positions in the Foreign Office, provided the Soviets with detailed reports on British and American nuclear policies. Guy Burgess, with his charming yet reckless persona, moved through various government offices, leaking critical intelligence along the way. Anthony Blunt, an art historian and MI5 officer, added a layer of complexity to the ring, working as a courier and conduit for information. Despite their eventual exposure and defection, the fifth man's identity remains elusive. Various candidates have been proposed over the years, including John Cairncross and Victor Rothschild, but no definitive evidence has confirmed any single individual. This lingering mystery continues to fascinate historians and spy enthusiasts alike. Who was the unknown fifth member, and how did they manage to evade detection? The case of the Cambridge Five not only highlights the vulnerabilities within intelligence agencies, but also underscores the sophisticated methods employed by Soviet espionage. The intrigue surrounding this case remains a captivating chapter in the annals of Cold War espionage, leaving us to ponder the true extent of the information compromised and the lingering impact on international relations. As we uncover more about these spies and their operations, the question of the fifth man still hangs in the air, waiting to be definitively answered. The impact on British intelligence was profound and far-reaching. The betrayal by the Cambridge Five not only compromised specific operations, but also led to a pervasive sense of mistrust within the British intelligence community. This distrust extended to their allies, particularly the United States, causing a strain on the cooperative efforts that were crucial during the Cold War. The long-term effects of the Cambridge Five's espionage activities were significant. First, the exposure of these spies led to a sweeping re-evaluation of security protocols within MI5 and MI6. New measures were implemented to prevent such breaches, including more rigorous background checks and tighter internal surveillance. However, the damage had already been done. Sensitive information related to British and American military strategies, including nuclear policies, was in Soviet hands, potentially altering the course of various Cold War confrontations. Additionally, the Cambridge Five affair had a chilling effect on recruitment strategies. The realization that highly educated, seemingly loyal individuals could be Soviet agents prompted a shift in how new recruits were vetted. Trust became a scarce commodity, affecting morale and operational efficiency. The scandal also cast a long shadow over Britain's international reputation. Allies questioned the reliability of British intelligence, leading to cautious sharing of information. This erosion of trust took years to repair, with some lingering doubts persisting even after the end of the Cold War. The individuals involved in the Cambridge Five case, particularly those whose identities were confirmed, experienced mixed fates. Some defected to the Soviet Union, living the rest of their lives under a cloud of notoriety. Others faced public disgrace and legal repercussions, but the true impact of their actions extends beyond personal outcomes. The Cambridge Five underscored the vulnerabilities inherent in intelligence agencies and highlighted the sophisticated methods employed by Soviet espionage. It was a stark reminder of the ideological battle at the heart of the Cold War, where the stakes were nothing less than global dominance. This case remains a poignant example of how espionage can alter international dynamics, reminding us of the delicate balance between trust and suspicion that defines the world of intelligence. The third case involves the disappearance of Raoul Wallenberg, a Swedish diplomat renowned for his heroic efforts during World War II. Wallenberg's wartime heroics included issuing protective passports and providing shelter to thousands of Jews in Nazi-occupied Hungary, actions that saved countless lives. His bravery and resourcefulness earned him international acclaim, but his story took a dark turn with his mysterious disappearance in 1945. After the Soviet forces entered Budapest, Wallenberg was detained by Soviet authorities and never seen again. The circumstances surrounding his detention and subsequent fate have been a source of speculation and intrigue for decades. Some theories suggest that Wallenberg was suspected of espionage activities by the Soviets, leading to his arrest. His connection with American intelligence agencies during the war might have made him a target. There are records indicating that Wallenberg collaborated with the Office of Strategic Services, the precursor to the CIA, providing valuable intelligence on Nazi activities. This connection could have fueled Soviet suspicions, resulting in his imprisonment. Despite numerous inquiries and investigations, the Soviet government provided limited and often contradictory information about Wallenberg's fate. Some reports claim he died in a Soviet prison in the late 1940s, while others suggest he might have been held captive for years. The lack of concrete evidence has kept the mystery alive, with many speculating that he might have been executed or died under harsh conditions. Wallenberg's disappearance remains one of the most perplexing unsolved cases of historical espionage. His legacy as a humanitarian hero is undisputed, but the unanswered questions about his fate add a layer of intrigue to his story. Why did the Soviets see him as a threat? What information did he possess that warranted such drastic actions? And most importantly, what truly happened to him after his arrest? The case of Raoul Wallenberg continues to capture the imagination of historians and espionage enthusiasts, serving as a stark reminder of the complexities and dangers faced by those involved in wartime intelligence. The investigation into Raoul Wallenberg's fate has spanned decades, with numerous efforts by governments, historians, and independent researchers attempting to unearth the truth. Initially, the Soviet Union remained tight-lipped about Wallenberg's whereabouts, providing little to no information. This silence fueled suspicions and prompted the Swedish government to make repeated inquiries. In 1957, the Soviets released a statement claiming that Wallenberg had died of a heart attack in 1947 while imprisoned. However, this explanation was met with skepticism due to a lack of concrete evidence and the secretive nature of Soviet prisons. Over the years, various documents and testimonies have come to light, suggesting Wallenberg might have lived longer than the Soviet account claimed. Some former prisoners reported seeing or hearing about a foreign diplomat, matching Wallenberg's description long after 1947. In the 1970s and 1980s, renewed efforts by Wallenberg's family and international human rights organizations led to further investigations. These inquiries revealed inconsistencies in the Soviet narrative and hinted at a possible cover-up. The fall of the Soviet Union in the early 1990s brought new opportunities for investigation. Researchers gained access to previously classified KGB files, uncovering more details about Wallenberg's arrest and detention. A joint Swedish-Russian working group was established to examine these records, yet many questions remained unanswered. Some documents indicated that Wallenberg had been interrogated about his connections to American intelligence, supporting the theory that he was seen as a spy. Additionally, correspondence from high-ranking Soviet officials hinted at internal debates about Wallenberg's fate, suggesting that his case was more complicated than a mere health issue. Another intriguing piece of evidence emerged in the form of a diary belonging to Ivan Serov, the KGB head in the 1950s. The diary entries discovered in 2016 implied that Wallenberg might have been executed on orders from Soviet leaders. Despite these findings, no definitive proof has confirmed Wallenberg's exact fate, leaving room for ongoing speculation. The involvement of the Soviet Union in Wallenberg's disappearance highlights the complex interplay of wartime alliances and post-war political tensions. As an agent who had collaborated with American intelligence, Wallenberg's detention by the Soviets suggests a deep mistrust and the high-stakes nature of Cold War espionage. The mystery surrounding his fate continues to inspire investigation, reminding us of the many untold stories lying beneath the surface of historical espionage. The fourth case involves the infamous Rosenberg Espionage Case, a story that gripped the United States during the height of the Cold War. Julius and Ethel Rosenberg were an American couple accused of spying for the Soviet Union. Their trial and execution in the early 1950s became one of the most controversial episodes in American legal history. Julius Rosenberg was an electrical engineer and Ethel Rosenberg was a secretary, and both were active members of the Communist Party. The charges against them centered on allegations that they had passed critical information about the United States atomic bomb project to Soviet agents. This purported espionage was said to have significantly accelerated the Soviet Union's development of nuclear weapons, heightening tensions during an already fraught period of the Cold War. In 1950, Julius was arrested based on accusations from David Greenglass, Ethel's brother, who worked at the Los Alamos laboratory. Greenglass testified that Julius had recruited him to provide handwritten notes and sketches of the atomic bomb, which were then allegedly passed on to Soviet agents. Ethel was implicated in part because of her alleged involvement in typing up these notes. The trial, which began in March 1951, was marked by intense public and media scrutiny. The prosecution portrayed the Rosenbergs as traitors who had jeopardized American security at the highest level. The defense, however, argued that the evidence was circumstantial and that the Rosenbergs were being targeted for their political beliefs rather than any concrete acts of espionage. Despite the defense's arguments, the jury found both Julius and Ethel guilty of conspiracy to commit espionage. They were sentenced to death, a punishment many viewed as excessively harsh, especially for Ethel, whose direct involvement in the espionage activities was less clear. Appeals for clemency and protests from prominent figures and organizations around the world could not sway the authorities, and in June 1953, the Rosenbergs were executed in the electric chair. The lingering questions about their guilt have persisted for decades. While some believe Julius was indeed guilty, many argue that Ethel was innocent or at least less culpable. Declassified Soviet documents have since revealed that Julius did provide some information to the Soviets, but the significance and extent of this information remain debated. Was the information he allegedly passed truly pivotal to the Soviet atomic program, or was it exaggerated by the prosecution to ensure a conviction? Ethel's role, in particular, remains contentious. Some evidence suggests she was aware of Julius's activities, but whether she actively participated remains unclear. Critics argue that her execution was intended to pressure Julius into confessing and implicating others, a tactic that ultimately failed. The Rosenberg case continues to evoke strong emotions and debate. It underscores the fear and paranoia that characterized the early Cold War era and serves as a stark reminder of how political fervor can influence justice. Did the Rosenbergs receive a fair trial, or were they scapegoats in a broader anti-communist agenda? These unresolved questions keep the case shrouded in mystery and controversy, ensuring its place as one of the most compelling unsolved cases in the history of espionage. The legacy of the Rosenberg case continues to reverberate through American society, sparking debate and reflection on justice, national security, and the influence of political ideology. One of the most profound impacts of the case was the heightened atmosphere of fear and suspicion during the Cold War. The execution of Julius and Ethel Rosenberg, a married couple with 2 young children, underscored the lengths to which the United States was willing to go to protect its secrets and its security. Yet, it also highlighted the potential for miscarriages of justice in times of national panic. The case became a symbol of the anti-communist fervor that swept the nation, embodied by the McCarthy-era's aggressive campaigns against perceived communist threats. Critics argue that the Rosenberg's trial was heavily influenced by this political climate, with a biased prosecution and a judiciary eager to set an example. This perception has fueled ongoing debates about whether the Rosenbergs received a fair trial or were victims of an overzealous government. Over the years, various pieces of evidence and declassified documents have surfaced, offering new insights and fueling further debate. Some of these documents suggest that Julius Rosenberg did indeed engage in espionage activities, though the extent and impact of his actions on the Soviet atomic program remain contested. Ethel's role, however, is viewed by many as more ambiguous, with some evidence indicating she may have been aware of her husband's activities but did not actively participate. This ambiguity has led to persistent questions about her guilt and the justification for her execution. The case's impact on American society extends beyond the immediate sphere of espionage and national security. It has become a touchstone in discussions about civil liberties, the death penalty, and the ethical boundaries of state power. The Rosenberg's trial and execution are often cited in debates over the balance between national security and individual rights, with some viewing their punishment as a necessary measure during a critical period, while others see it as a grave injustice influenced by political hysteria. The Rosenberg case has also left a significant cultural legacy, inspiring numerous books, documentaries, and plays that explore its complexities and moral questions. These works often reflect broader concerns about justice, truth, and the consequences of political fear-mongering. They serve as reminders of the human cost of espionage and the often murky line between guilt and innocence. In summary, the Rosenberg case remains one of the most contentious and debated episodes in American history. Its legacy is a complex tapestry of fear, justice, and ideological conflict that continues to provoke discussion and reflection. The questions it raises about the interplay of political beliefs, legal processes, and human rights ensure its place as a profound and enduring enigma. The fifth case involves John Cairncross, often referred to as the Enigma Spy, due to his clandestine role in leaking decrypted Enigma messages to the Soviet Union during World War II. Cairncross was a member of the infamous Cambridge spy ring and worked at Bletchley Park, the secretive site where British codebreakers deciphered German military communications. His access to this highly sensitive information made him one of the most damaging spies of the era. Cairncross's espionage activities began in the early 1940s when he was recruited by Soviet intelligence. As a gifted linguist and scholar, he quickly ascended to positions of significant responsibility, allowing him to secretly gather and transmit critical information. Working at Bletchley Park, he had access to ultra-decrypts, the highly classified information derived from breaking the German Enigma code. This code-breaking effort was one of the Allies' most crucial intelligence operations, providing insights that greatly aided the war effort. However, Cairncross's betrayal meant that the Soviets, who were then allies of the British, received invaluable intelligence that helped them on the Eastern Front. The full extent of the material Cairncross passed to the Soviets remains uncertain, but it is believed to have included detailed military plans, troop movements, and other strategic information. His actions arguably provided the Soviet Union with a significant advantage, but they also posed a grave risk to Allied operations. Despite his critical role in the Cambridge Five and the damage he caused, Cairncross managed to evade detection for several years. It wasn't until the 1950s that his espionage activities came to light, and even then, the full scope of his deeds remained shrouded in secrecy. In 1951, under increasing scrutiny, he confessed to MI5, the British intelligence agency, but avoided severe punishment partly due to his cooperation. Cairncross later worked as an academic, living out his days in relative obscurity, far from the notoriety that befell some of his fellow spies. The unresolved aspects of John Cairncross's espionage continue to perplex historians. What drove this highly educated and seemingly patriotic individual to betray his country? Were there more significant motives or deeper ideological convictions that guided his actions? Additionally, the exact impact of the intelligence he shared with the Soviets is still debated. Some argue that his leaks significantly altered the course of World War II on the Eastern Front, while others believe the influence was less substantial. Cairncross's story touches on the broader dilemmas of loyalty, ideology, and the moral complexities faced by those in the shadowy world of espionage. His case remains a poignant example of how a single individual can influence the tides of history, leaving us with more questions than answers about the true legacy of his actions. Who was John Cairncross really? A traitor, a misguided idealist, or something more complex? The enigma of the Enigma Spy continues to be a subject of fascination and debate. The implications for cryptography in Case 5 are profound and multifaceted. John Cairncross's actions had a significant impact on cryptographic efforts during and after World War II. During the war, the successful decryption of the Enigma code at Bletchley Park was one of the Allies' most closely guarded secrets. The intelligence gathered, known as Ultra, provided critical insights into German military operations, which were pivotal in shaping the outcomes of various battles. However, Cairncross's betrayal meant that the Soviets, who were initially unaware of the extent of the Allies' code-breaking successes, received a treasure trove of encrypted communications and decrypts. This transfer of knowledge likely gave the Soviet Union a substantial boost in their own cryptographic capabilities, enabling them to enhance their code-breaking efforts and develop more secure communication methods. In the immediate aftermath of the war, the revelation of Cairncross's espionage activities prompted a re-evaluation of cryptographic security measures. Allies realized that the secrecy surrounding their cryptographic successes was more vulnerable than previously thought. This led to the implementation of more stringent protocols to safeguard sensitive information and prevent similar breaches in the future. The post-war period also saw significant advancements in cryptographic research, driven by the recognition that existing methods had been compromised. Efforts to develop more sophisticated encryption techniques increased, leading to innovations that would lay the groundwork for modern cryptography. The Cold War era, in particular, intensified the arms race in cryptography, with both Western and Eastern Bloc countries investing heavily in securing their communications and attempting to crack the codes of their adversaries. Cairncross's case revealed that even the most secure cryptographic systems were vulnerable to insider threats, highlighting the need for robust counterintelligence measures to protect against espionage. His actions underscored the importance of not only developing strong encryption methods, but also ensuring the integrity and loyalty of those entrusted with sensitive information. The long-term implications of Cairncross's espionage also extended to the field of information theory and computer science. The challenges posed by the constant threat of code-breaking during the war spurred advancements in algorithm design and computational techniques. These developments played a critical role in the evolution of encryption standards and cybersecurity practices that continue to protect information in our digital age. In summary, John Cairncross's actions had far-reaching consequences for cryptography, influencing both wartime strategies and post-war developments. His betrayal underscored the critical importance of cryptographic security and the ongoing need for innovation in the face of evolving threats. The lessons learned from his case continue to resonate, reminding us of the delicate balance between secrecy and transparency in safeguarding our most vital communications. The sixth case involves the espionage activities of Richard Sorge, a master spy whose operations in Tokyo during World War II provided invaluable intelligence to the Soviet Union. Sorge's espionage work in Japan is often hailed as one of the most successful spy missions in history, yet it remains shrouded in mystery and intrigue. Sorge, a German journalist and communist, had deep-seated ideological convictions that drove his commitment to espionage. He skillfully infiltrated the highest circles of German and Japanese society, gaining the trust of both Nazi officials and Japanese military leaders. His dual role as a journalist and a spy allowed him to gather critical information without arousing suspicion. Operating from Tokyo, Sorge's primary mission was to uncover Japan's military intentions and relay this information back to Soviet intelligence. His most significant achievement was alerting the Soviet Union to Germany's planned invasion, Operation Barbarossa, in 1941. This timely intelligence enabled Soviet forces to prepare for the onslaught, fundamentally altering the course of the war. Sorge's ability to access top-secret information hinged on his close relationships with key figures. He cultivated a network of informants, including Hatsumi Ozaki, a Japanese journalist with deep connections to the Japanese government. Together, they provided the Soviets with detailed reports on Axis military strategies and political developments. Despite his successes, Sorge's espionage career was marked by constant danger and the risk of exposure. The Japanese secret police were always on the lookout for foreign spies, and Sorge's activities eventually drew their attention. In October 1941, Sorge was arrested by Japanese authorities, marking the end of his espionage operations. The circumstances of Sorge's capture are still surrounded by questions. Some speculate that a betrayal from within his network led to his downfall, while others believe the Japanese had been closing in on him for months. Despite extensive interrogations, Sorge maintained his composure, revealing little about his operations or contacts. His trial was swift and his sentence severe. In 1944, Richard Sorge was executed by hanging, leaving behind a legacy of daring intelligence work and unanswered questions. What drove him to take such enormous risks? How much did his Soviet handlers know about the imminent danger he faced? And most intriguingly, did his warnings about Operation Barbarossa save the Soviet Union from a crippling defeat? The case of Richard Sorge remains a captivating chapter in the annals of espionage, a story of bravery, betrayal, and the high stakes of wartime intelligence. The strategic impact of Richard Sorge's intelligence on World War II events and decisions cannot be overstated. His timely and accurate reports significantly influenced Soviet military strategy and had a profound effect on the outcome of key battles. One of the most notable contributions was Sorge's advance warning about Operation Barbarossa, Germany's planned invasion of the Soviet Union in 1941. This intelligence allowed the Soviet military to prepare defenses and reposition troops to critical areas, thereby mitigating the initial shock of the invasion. While the Soviet Union still suffered heavy losses, Sorge's information provided them with a crucial tactical advantage that helped slow the German advance. Another major impact of Sorge's espionage was his insight into Japan's military intentions. Sorge accurately reported that Japan was not planning to attack the Soviet Union in the immediate future, but was instead focusing on its expansion in Southeast Asia. This intelligence was invaluable for Stalin, who then made the strategic decision to transfer Soviet divisions from the Far East to the Western Front. These reinforcements played a pivotal role in the defense of Moscow, stopping the German army's advance and marking a turning point in the war. Sorge's information also shed light on the collaboration between Nazi Germany and Imperial Japan, revealing the extent of their military and political coordination. This intelligence helped the Allies understand the broader strategies of the Axis powers, allowing them to better anticipate and counteract their moves. Furthermore, Sorge's reports contributed to the broader intelligence sharing network among the Allies. His detailed observations and strategic insights were shared with American and British intelligence agencies, enriching the overall understanding of Axis plans and capabilities. The strategic impact of Sorge's work extends beyond specific military movements and battles. His intelligence gathering underscored the importance of espionage in wartime strategy, highlighting how information could shift the balance of power. It illustrated the critical role that well-placed spies could play in shaping the outcomes of global conflicts. In summary, Richard Sorge's espionage had a profound strategic impact on World War II. His intelligence enabled the Soviet Union to prepare and respond more effectively to German and Japanese threats, directly influencing the course of the war. The lessons learned from Sorge's effective espionage underscore the enduring importance of intelligence in military strategy and international relations. The seventh case involves the Dreyfus affair, a political scandal that shook France in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. At its center was Alfred Dreyfus, a French army officer of Jewish descent who was wrongfully accused of espionage. The Dreyfus affair not only exposed deep-seated anti-Semitism within French society, but also raised significant questions about justice, military secrecy, and the manipulation of evidence. Alfred Dreyfus was an artillery officer in the French army who, in 1894, was accused of passing military secrets to the German Empire. The evidence against him was based on a handwritten memorandum, or bordereau, which contained French military information and was discovered in a German embassy wastebasket. Despite a lack of concrete evidence and a questionable investigation, Dreyfus was convicted of treason in a secret military trial. He was stripped of his rank in a humiliating public ceremony and sentenced to life imprisonment on Devil's Island, a remote penal colony off the coast of French Guiana. The trial and conviction of Dreyfus were marred by numerous irregularities. The court-martial relied heavily on questionable handwriting analysis and ignored exculpatory evidence. Additionally, anti-Semitic sentiments played a significant role in the proceedings, with Dreyfus's Jewish heritage making him an easy target for those looking to assign blame. The affair took a dramatic turn when new evidence came to light in 1896, suggesting that the actual culprit was Major Ferdinand Walsen Esterhazy, an officer with a history of dubious activities. Despite this, the French military establishment was unwilling to admit its mistake, fearing the scandal would undermine its credibility. Instead, they doubled down on their efforts to keep Dreyfus imprisoned. The case gained widespread attention due to the efforts of various intellectuals, journalists, and politicians who rallied to Dreyfus's defense. Among them was the famous writer Émile Zola, whose open letter, Je accuse, accused the French government and military of a cover-up and blatant anti-Semitism. Zola's letter was a turning point, galvanizing public opinion and sparking a heated debate about the true nature of the case. After years of intense public pressure and legal battles, Dreyfus was finally exonerated in 1906. He was reinstated in the army and promoted to the rank of major. However, the scars of the affair left a lasting impact on French society, highlighting the pervasive anti-Semitism and the flaws within the judicial and military systems. The Dreyfus affair remains a powerful reminder of the dangers of prejudice and the importance of due process. It also raises intriguing questions about the nature of espionage and the ways in which evidence can be manipulated to serve political ends. Was Dreyfus truly innocent, or was he a convenient scapegoat in a larger political game? What forces within the military and government were so determined to see him convicted, and why? The case of Alfred Dreyfus continues to captivate historians and legal scholars, serving as a poignant example of the intersection between justice, politics, and human rights in the world of espionage. The political ramifications of the Dreyfus affair were profound and far-reaching, shaking the very foundations of French society and government. This case not only exposed the deep-seated anti-Semitism within the French military and broader society, but also led to significant political and social upheaval. One of the immediate political consequences was the division of France into two bitterly opposed camps: the Dreyfusards, who supported Alfred Dreyfus and called for justice, and the anti-Dreyfusards, who believed in his guilt and wanted to maintain the honor of the military. This division permeated all levels of French society, from the government and military to intellectual circles and the general public. The affair highlighted the extent of anti-Semitism in France, as many of Dreyfus's opponents used his Jewish heritage as a basis for their accusations. This prejudice was not confined to the military but was reflective of broader societal attitudes. The public defense of Dreyfus by prominent figures such as Émile Zola brought these issues to the forefront, leading to widespread debates about the role of anti-Semitism in French society and its impact on justice. The political establishment, particularly the military, faced intense scrutiny for its handling of the case. The cover-up and refusal to admit wrongdoing by high-ranking officials eroded public trust in the military and the government. This scandal led to significant reforms aimed at reducing military influence over the judiciary and ensuring greater transparency in judicial proceedings. The Dreyfus affair also had a lasting impact on French politics, contributing to the rise of the Radical Party, which championed secularism and advocated for a separation between church and state. The radicals viewed the affair as a symbol of the dangers posed by the intersection of religion, particularly Catholicism and politics, and they pushed for reforms to secularize French institutions. Additionally, the case had broader implications for the concept of military justice. The trial of Dreyfus, marked by secretive proceedings and manipulated evidence, highlighted the potential for miscarriages of justice within military courts. This led to calls for reforms to ensure that military personnel accused of crimes would receive fair trials with proper procedural safeguards. Internationally, the Dreyfus affair tarnished France's reputation, with many countries viewing the case as emblematic of France's failure to uphold principles of justice and human rights. This international condemnation added pressure on the French government to resolve the affair and restore its moral standing. In summary, the Dreyfus affair had significant political ramifications, exposing the deep fault lines of anti-Semitism and leading to major reforms in French society and its institutions. The case remains a critical example of how espionage, prejudice, and politics can intertwine, with lasting consequences for justice and society. The eighth case involves the Venona project, a top-secret United States program that aimed to decrypt messages sent by Soviet intelligence agencies during and after World War II. This monumental effort not only unveiled a massive network of Soviet espionage within the United States, but also raised significant questions about the extent and impact of espionage activities on American soil. The Venona project began in 1943 when American cryptanalysts, in collaboration with British counterparts, started working to break the Soviet code known as the Venona traffic. These encrypted messages contained communications between Soviet intelligence operatives and their handlers in Moscow. The Soviet Union had believed their ciphers to be unbreakable, but the persistent efforts of the Venona team eventually led to significant breakthroughs. By 1946, the Venona cryptographers had succeeded in decrypting a considerable number of messages, revealing the identities of numerous Soviet spies embedded within various American institutions. Among the most notable revelations was the presence of Soviet agents in key government positions, including the State Department, the Treasury, and even the Manhattan Project, which was responsible for developing the atomic bomb. One of the most famous names uncovered by Venona was that of Alger Hiss, a high-ranking State Department official accused of passing secrets to the Soviets. Despite his claims of innocence, the decrypted Venona messages provided compelling evidence of his involvement in espionage, leading to his eventual conviction for perjury. Another significant figure identified through Venona was Klaus Fuchs, a German-born physicist who worked on the Manhattan Project and later admitted to passing atomic secrets to the Soviet Union. His arrest and confession were instrumental in understanding the extent of Soviet infiltration into the American nuclear program. The Venona project also exposed the espionage activities of Julius and Ethel Rosenberg, whose trial and execution became one of the most controversial episodes in American Cold War history. While Venona evidence played a crucial role in confirming Julius Rosenberg's guilt, questions about Ethel's involvement remained a contentious issue. Through Venona, the scale of Soviet espionage in the United States became clear, revealing a complex web of informants and agents who had successfully infiltrated critical sectors. However, despite the project's many successes, several espionage cases remain unresolved. The true identities of some Soviet spies, known only by their code names in the decrypted messages, have never been conclusively determined. This lingering ambiguity continues to intrigue historians and intelligence experts as they seek to piece together the full extent of the Soviet espionage network. The Venona project's impact on American intelligence and national security was profound. It prompted a re-evaluation of internal security measures, leading to stricter vetting processes and more rigorous counterintelligence efforts. The revelations also fueled the anti-communist sentiment of the era, contributing to the atmosphere of suspicion and fear that characterized the early Cold War years. In summary, the Venona project stands as one of the most significant achievements in the history of cryptography and intelligence. It not only exposed the depth and breadth of Soviet espionage activities in the United States, but also left many questions unanswered. The unresolved cases uncovered by Venona continue to captivate and challenge those who study the shadowy world of espionage, reminding us of the perpetual battle between secrecy and discovery. The Venona project fundamentally altered intelligence practices and the hunt for spies in Cold War America. First, it demonstrated the necessity of robust cryptographic efforts in national security. The successful decryption of Soviet messages showcased the power of code-breaking and the pivotal role it played in uncovering espionage networks. As a result, intelligence agencies significantly ramped up their cryptographic capabilities, investing in both personnel and technology to stay ahead of adversarial encryption methods. Additionally, Venona revelations brought to light the extent of Soviet infiltration, prompting a dramatic overhaul of internal security protocols. Stringent background checks, rigorous vetting processes, and continuous surveillance of government employees became standard practices. The exposure of high-ranking officials like Alger Hiss and scientists such as Klaus Fuchs underscored the need for comprehensive counterintelligence operations, fueling the creation of specialized units dedicated to identifying and neutralizing espionage threats. Moreover, the Venona decrypts led to closer collaboration between allied intelligence agencies. The sharing of decrypted information facilitated a more unified effort against Soviet espionage, fostering a network of cooperation that extended across national borders. This alliance was instrumental in cross-referencing intelligence, identifying patterns, and corroborating findings, thus enhancing the overall effectiveness of counterespionage activities. The Venona project also had a profound psychological impact on the American intelligence community. The realization that Soviet spies had penetrated key institutions deeply ingrained a sense of vigilance and suspicion. This atmosphere of heightened alertness influenced intelligence practices, encouraging more proactive measures in monitoring potential espionage activities. However, Venona impact was not without controversy. Its contributions to the convictions of figures like the Rosenbergs and Alger Hiss sparked debates about the methods and ethical considerations of intelligence operations. The project highlighted the thin line between pursuing national security and safeguarding civil liberties, a balance that intelligence agencies have since continuously navigated. In essence, the Venona project revolutionized intelligence practices by emphasizing the critical importance of cryptography. reshaping internal security frameworks, fostering international cooperation, and embedding a lasting sense of vigilance within the intelligence community. The hunt for spies in Cold War America was profoundly influenced by these insights, driving advancements in the methods and strategies used to protect national security. As we reflect on Venona legacy, it stands as a testament to the enduring battle between secrecy and discovery, illustrating how a single cryptographic breakthrough can alter the course of intelligence history. The ninth case involves the legendary Sidney Riley, often dubbed the Ace of Spies. Riley's espionage career is the stuff of legend, filled with daring missions, complex plots, and a multitude of identities. He operated during the early 20th century, making a name for himself in the shadowy world of international espionage. Born Sigmund Rosenblum in present-day Ukraine, Riley's origins are as mysterious as his life. Fluent in multiple languages and possessing an exceptional intellect, he quickly caught the attention of British intelligence, who recruited him for his unique skills. His early missions took him across the globe from the Far East to Europe, engaging in a variety of espionage activities. Riley's exploits during World War I earned him a reputation as an extraordinary spy. He infiltrated German arms factories, providing critical information to the Allies. His ability to blend in and gain the trust of his adversaries was unmatched. But it was his activities in post-revolutionary Russia that cemented his notoriety. Riley was deeply involved in the British plot to overthrow the Bolshevik government, known as the Lockhart Plot. The aim was to assassinate Lenin and destabilize the nascent Soviet regime. Despite the plan's initial promise, it ultimately failed, leading to Riley's narrow escape from the Soviet secret police, the Cheka. His daring and cunning in evading capture only added to his mythos. However, the most enigmatic aspect of Riley's career is his disappearance. In 1925, while attempting to re-enter the Soviet Union on a secret mission, he was captured by the Cheka. Accounts of his fate vary, with some suggesting he was executed in 1925, while others believe he may have lived in captivity for years. The lack of concrete evidence has led to numerous theories about his final days. Was he betrayed by a fellow agent? Did he manage to escape again, only to live out his days in hiding? The mystery of Sidney Riley's disappearance adds another layer of intrigue to his already fascinating story. His life and career highlight both the glamour and peril of espionage, showcasing the thin line between success and failure in the world of spies. Sidney Riley's legacy as the Ace of Spies continues to captivate historians and enthusiasts, reminding us of the enigmatic and often perilous nature of espionage. His story is one of extraordinary bravery, cleverness, and ultimately unresolved mystery. As we ponder the true fate of Sidney Riley, we are left with more questions than answers, ensuring his place as one of the most intriguing figures in the annals of espionage history. The legend and myth for Case 9 unfold as we delve into Sidney Riley's legacy in espionage lore, a realm where the lines between fact and fiction often blur. Riley's life, marked by countless daring missions and assumed identities, has inspired a plethora of stories that have elevated him to near mythical status. His adventures have been the subject of numerous books, films, and television series, each embellishing his already extraordinary exploits. One of the most pervasive myths surrounding Riley is his role as the template for Ian Fleming's James Bond. Although there is no definitive evidence linking Riley directly to the creation of Bond, his legendary status as an unparalleled spy certainly provided inspiration for the iconic character. Both figures share a penchant for audacious missions, sophisticated charm, and an uncanny ability to extricate themselves from perilous situations. However, separating fact from fiction in Riley's story is no easy task. Historical records confirm his involvement in significant espionage activities, such as infiltrating German arms factories during World War I and playing a key role in the Lockhart plot against the Bolsheviks. Yet, many of the more sensational tales of his exploits lack concrete evidence, often relying on second-hand accounts and anecdotal reports. For instance, stories of Riley's numerous romantic entanglements and his supposed ability to charm any woman he met contribute to his larger-than-life persona, but remain largely unsubstantiated. Similarly, claims of his survival and continued secret missions after his reported execution by the Cheka in 1925 add to the mythos but lack verification. The allure of Sidney Riley's legend lies in these very uncertainties. The combination of documented daring feats and speculative adventures creates a compelling narrative that captivates the imagination. His ability to navigate the treacherous waters of international espionage, coupled with his mysterious end, cements his status as a legendary figure in the annals of spy history. This enigmatic legacy prompts us to consider the broader impact of legendary spies like Riley on the public perception of espionage. They embody the intrigue, danger, and glamour associated with the shadowy world of intelligence work, often overshadowing the more mundane but equally critical aspects of the profession. As we explore the myths and facts of Sidney Riley's life, we are reminded of the fine line between reality and legend in the world of espionage. His story continues to inspire and fascinate, ensuring that the legend of the Ace of Spies endures, captivating each new generation with tales of courage, cunning, and mystery. The 10th case involves the Cicero affair, a riveting tale of espionage centered around Elias Abasna, a man whose clandestine activities during World War II have sparked endless debates about his true motivations and the extent of his intelligence leaks. Known by his codename Cicero, Basna was a Turkish embassy employee in Ankara who spied for Nazi Germany, yet his story remains shrouded in mystery and controversy. Elias Abasna worked as a valet for the British ambassador to Turkey, Sir Hugh Knatchbull Hugison. Using his position, Basna gained access to highly sensitive documents and photographed them, subsequently passing the information to the Germans. The intelligence he provided was of significant value, including details about Allied strategies and diplomatic communications. The leaked documents reached the highest levels of the Nazi regime, influencing their decisions and operations during critical phases of the war. However, the true nature of Basna's motivations remains a subject of intense speculation. Was he driven by ideological alignment with the Nazis, a desire for financial gain, or something more complex? Basna himself claimed that his primary motivation was monetary. He was paid handsomely by the Germans for the intelligence he provided, but there are questions about whether financial incentives were his only driving force. Some historians suggest that Basna harbored anti-British sentiments, while others argue that he was a manipulative opportunist who played both sides to his advantage. The remarkable aspect of Cicero's espionage is the sheer volume and sensitivity of the information he managed to leak. The impact of his intelligence on German strategies is still debated. Some argue that the intelligence he provided was instrumental in shaping certain Nazi operations, while others believe the information was underutilized or viewed with skepticism by German intelligence officials. Adding to the intrigue is the mystery surrounding the aftermath of Basna's activities. After the war, he published his memoirs, insisting that he was never fully compensated by the Germans as promised. Despite his claims of financial betrayal, Basna's post-war life was marked by relative obscurity, raising questions about what other secrets he might have taken to his grave. The ambiguities surrounding his motivations and the ultimate impact of his espionage efforts continue to captivate historians and espionage enthusiasts. Was Elias Basna merely a mercenary driven by greed, a patriot acting out of ideological convictions, or a complex figure with multifaceted motives? And how significant were the intelligence leaks in altering the course of World War II? The Cicero affair remains one of the most enigmatic and debated cases in the history of espionage, highlighting the complex interplay of personal motives, political ideologies, and the high stakes of wartime intelligence. As we ponder the true nature of Elias Abasna's actions, we are reminded of the shadowy depths of espionage, where truth often intertwines with deception, leaving us with enduring mysteries to unravel. The impact of the Cicero affair on World War II events is a topic of considerable debate among historians. The intelligence that Elias Abasna provided to Nazi Germany had the potential to significantly alter the course of various military and diplomatic strategies. One of the key pieces of information Basna leaked concerned the Allied plans for Operation Overlord, the highly secretive and crucial D-Day invasion of Normandy. By accessing top-secret documents, Basna was able to convey details about the timing and logistics of the invasion. However, despite the critical nature of this intelligence, the Germans did not fully trust the information, partly due to their skepticism about Basna's reliability and the authenticity of the documents. Consequently, they failed to take decisive action that could have thwarted or delayed the Allied invasion. Another significant aspect of Basna's espionage was his provision of information regarding Allied diplomatic communications and strategies in the Middle East and Eastern Europe. This intelligence included sensitive details about the negotiations between the Allies and neutral countries, as well as plans for post-war settlements. The Germans utilized this information to try to influence the diplomatic landscape, attempting to sway neutral nations and undermine Allied efforts. However, the overall impact of these efforts was limited, as the Allies' strategic advantages and military capabilities continued to dominate the war's progression. Additionally, Basna provided intelligence on Allied troop movements and supply routes, particularly in North Africa and the Mediterranean. This information could have been pivotal in shaping German military strategies in these regions. Yet, once again, the effectiveness of the intelligence was hampered by the cautious approach of the German High Command, who often viewed the information with suspicion. As a result, opportunities to exploit this intelligence were missed, and the overall impact on the battlefield was less significant than it might have been. The Cicero affair also highlighted the vulnerabilities within the British diplomatic corps and their security protocols. The ease with which Basna accessed and photographed sensitive documents exposed critical weaknesses that were subsequently addressed. The British implemented stricter security measures and increased surveillance to prevent similar breaches in the future. This reaction underscores the broader implications of the Cicero affair, extending beyond immediate wartime events to influence intelligence practices and diplomatic security for years to come. In summary, while the Cicero affair provided Nazi Germany with valuable intelligence, the actual impact on World War II events was mitigated by a combination of German skepticism and missed opportunities. The intelligence Basna leaked had the potential to shape key military and diplomatic strategies, but its full effectiveness was never realized. The case remains a fascinating study of espionage potential and limitations, illustrating the complex interplay between intelligence, trust, and strategic decision-making during the war. Additional noteworthy cases continue to underscore the mystique and complexity of historical espionage. One such case is the mystery surrounding the disappearance of British agent Lionel Crabb in 1956. Crabb was a Royal Navy frogman who vanished while on a covert mission near a Soviet cruiser docked in Portsmouth. His disappearance led to a swirl of speculation, with theories ranging from political assassination to defection. Despite numerous inquiries, the full circumstances of Crabb's fate remain unresolved, adding to the lore of Cold War espionage. Another intriguing case is the puzzle of the cipher messages from the Zodiac Killer in the late 1960s. While not a traditional espionage act, the encrypted messages sent to police and newspapers by the infamous serial killer have perplexed cryptographers and amateur sleuths alike. The Zodiac's ability to create and maintain ciphers that withstood decades of attempts to decode them showcases the intersection of criminality and cryptographic skill, highlighting the enduring challenge of decryption. Additionally, the case of the Raincoat Spy during World War II further enriches the tapestry of unsolved espionage stories. A mysterious figure known only as Agent 355, whose true identity remains unknown, played a crucial role in the American Revolutionary War, providing key intelligence to the Continental Army. The scant details about Agent 355's life and contributions have led to widespread speculation about who this individual truly was and how they impacted the war's outcome. The story of Robert Hanssen, an FBI agent who spied for the Soviet Union and later Russia from 1979 to 2001, also stands as a modern enigma. Although Hanssen was eventually caught and convicted, the full extent of the damage caused by his espionage activities and the motivations behind his betrayal still intrigue scholars and intelligence professionals. Hanssen's case highlights the vulnerabilities within even the most secure agencies and the lasting impact of prolonged espionage. Lastly, the unresolved enigma of the Red Orchestra, a network of Soviet spies operating in Nazi Germany, adds another dimension to the history of espionage. While many members of this network were captured or killed, the fate of the group's leader, Leopold Trepper, remains subject to debate. Some accounts suggest he managed to escape, while others imply he was executed by the Soviets upon his return. The Red Orchestra's effectiveness in gathering and transmitting intelligence during one of history's most tumultuous periods underscores the high stakes and lethal risks inherent in the world of espionage. These additional cases, each shrouded in mystery and speculation, continue to intrigue and puzzle historians, cryptographers, and enthusiasts. They remind us of the perpetual dance between concealment and discovery that defines the realm of espionage, where every uncovered secret often leads to even more questions. As we explore these fascinating stories, we gain a deeper appreciation for the complexities and dangers faced by spies throughout history, each case contributing to the rich and enigmatic legacy of espionage. In summary, we've delved into 10 of the most captivating unsolved cases in the world of historical espionage. From the mysterious man in the Iron Mask and the betrayal of the Cambridge Five to the vanished hero Raoul Wallenberg and the controversial execution of the Rosenbergs, each story presents a unique puzzle. John Cairncross, the Enigma Spy, and Richard Sorge's invaluable intelligence work in Tokyo have shown us the far-reaching impacts of espionage during wartime. The Dreyfus affair exposed deep societal fault lines, while the Venona project illustrated the profound consequences of decrypted communications. Sidney Riley's legendary exploits and enigmatic disappearance, alongside the Cicero affair's untapped potential, remind us of the high stakes and complexities that define the espionage landscape. These mysteries not only highlight the perilous lives of spies, but also reflect the intricate dance between secrecy and discovery that lies at the heart of intelligence work. They reveal how espionage can alter the course of history, expose vulnerabilities within nations, and leave questions that resonate through time. As we continue to explore these unsolved cases, we're reminded of the enduring allure and enigmatic nature of the world of spies. What do you think about these tales of intrigue and mystery? Do you have any theories or insights into these unsolved cases? We invite you to share your thoughts and join the discussion. If you enjoyed this exploration of historical espionage, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Thank you for watching, and see you next time on our journey through the mysteries of history.